come on. To tell you what our marriage has gotten to, we got these glass doors in our shower, and so I've been leaving them in the shower. You know, I give out in the morning, and they're into the shower. And she sends me a note. She said, "Bill, it's best to dry out the shower to leave the shower doors out." She signed it, the management.
Your house too?
Well, congratulations. How long you been married now?
90 days.
Holy moly.
90 days.
I know.
Yeah, we've been married about 18,000 days.
Seems like it.
51 years, so
You're the
seems like it.
That's right.
But it's fun to be here, and we're having a great weekend. I keep thinking, I went and did a class on Tuesday in San Antonio for a good friend of mine, David Lipset. He's the night. David's fighting cancer and beating it in Vita. And he said something interesting. He said someone did a school for him that helped, and all you can do for him, maybe help his business grow a little bit. He said he always wondered, how come people join Primerica, they spend $99, their life can change dramatically, but they won't do what they're told to do. They won't come to classes, they won't try to help themselves. And he said, I've never understood why people did that. He said, then I go to Invita, where just to walk in the door, it's $100,000 of my own money. And this is life-saving treatment, and he said, I was sitting there getting my veins shot up with all this fluid for, they do chemo and all kinds of stuff, and also vitamins and all that, Megdosis stuff. And they're talking about how weird it is that people come in there like him who spend $100,000 and don't follow the protocol and don't do what they're supposed to do and don't even try to help themselves get well. And they miss sessions. He said, it came home to roost, Bill, that it's numbers. You can't judge who's going to do it and who won't. And when we say to ourselves, I'm going to only go after a certain kind of person because these other people, I only want people to come in here who are going to be serious. Well, we're going to miss out on a lot of good people. Yes. And my mission this afternoon, to give you the worst presentation I know of. Because I can't give you the best, because I don't know the best. What's the best? What's the worst? Send your kids to good schools. Well, tell me the bad ones. And so most of our travails in Primerica is we're not confident that when we give a presentation, it's hitting home. Like someone said the other day, Bill, what do you say to somebody, and I know right then and there, they don't talk to enough people.
Yeah, doesn't matter.
And the reason I say it's the worst presentation, because if I knew the best one, I'd be giving you the best. But it's the only one I know to give you, and that's the one that I have given so many times that I can do it blindfolded, I can do it with my left hand, I can do it with everything behind my back, because I don't care what they say. My job is to present to them something that will make their life better and give them what they want out of life. Everybody wants this. When I go through the presentation, you're going to hear, this is what they want. They're acknowledging, this is what I want. But I'm making the decision all the time whether or not I want a full talking with them. People don't understand us in Primerica because most of us are not Primerica reps. We're Primerica beggars. We beg, plead. But what do you say? It's always so funny because they crinkle their face. What do you say, Danielle? What do you say to somebody when they say they're busy? Believe them. Right? Let me tell you something else. What do you say to somebody when they say they're not interested? Believe them.
Yeah.
Instead of conjuring up some people, you just got to believe them, right? And move on. Instead of, but if I had a way to change 30 years of thinking in the next 5 minutes, then I won't have to talk to somebody else, right? And the greatest news is that we could decide who we want to talk to. And I'm very adamant about it. I don't fool with people. I'm quick release. I'm not one of those people that keep on them, you never know, stay on them. I'm not. I'm quick release. I'll give them 5 to 8 minutes of my time. In that time period, Larry, I'm deciding whether or not I want to fool with them. Mm-hmm. And you blink the wrong way, I'm gone. You give me the wrong look, I'm gone. You say the wrong words, I'm gone. I'm to go talk to somebody who wants to change their life. See, my life changed 6 months in when Zenaida, how much time do you give somebody on why they should invest in mutual funds, and they give you please. Right, you're going to be broke. No, I don't fool with people. When I realized that it's not whether or not they join or buy, it's whether or not I choose to recruit them or choose to make them a client, that's when it changed. I stopped being interviewed and started interviewing. What do we say? I've got interviews this week. Who's interviewing who? Most of the times, you're pleading with them. What do you say to convince people? In other words, what's the most perfect presentation you can give that once you give it, everybody will join, everybody will buy? And the answer is, there is no such thing. So, understand that your whole Primerica life is determining who to spend your time with. You know, people don't like to hear it, but I want you to think about an index card with your name and number on it. And I call people in my hierarchy, and they don't realize it, but when I'm talking to them, I have a mental trash can with the index card over it, like this. Hey, John, just Bill Orender giving you a call. Yeah, Bill, what you got? What you need?
No. Oh, no.
Now, I'll give him the benefit of this might be a bad day. 2 times?
Yeah.
Now, does that mean I'll disown him? He's a bad person? He's a bad human being? No. That means I'll let him go his direction. I've got to find somebody that wants what I've got to offer them. You know, I get phone calls for people to come and say, can you come do a school for us? You know what I say? Not all of them, but, you know, I'm not a good fit to talk to your folks. My message isn't what people want to hear. Like the time, and I got this call, Bill, you're the greatest speaker in the world. You're the best speaker I've ever heard. Bill Orender, you've changed my life, and you're the most prominent, blah, 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 blah. Can you come do a school? And I looked at my calendar. I cannot come. He said, oh, too bad. Either could Mike Tuttle.
Oh my word.
You were the best.
Oh, too bad. Neither could Mike.
I didn't want to ask him who else before Mike Tuttle could. I don't want to know that I'm Carol's hand-me-down, right?
That's right.
Carol, but the other 3 men, Bill, I guess I'll settle for you. But see, that's how we treat this opportunity, like a rag. And we're just trying to get someone to take this piece of slop. off our hands and buy this stuff. You know, if you ever go to New York City and you're in the subway and a guy with an overcoat on comes up to you and says, "Hey, how are you?" And he opens up his overcoat. He's got all this stuff hanging. "You need something? I got something. I got everything you need." See, that's how we treat Primerica. I got stuff. Do you need any stuff? I got variable annuities. I got fixed annuities. I got life and mutual funds. I got life insurance. I got 10-year. I got 15-year. I got 25-year. I've got auto and home. See, you got to have a degree of respect for what you're offering people.
Yeah.
And that comes in with acknowledging, you've heard me, some of you talk about this. Rabbi Lapin talks about how all business was created by God to force us to be good to one another.
Amen.
So when you're working, God wants you to work to make somebody else's life better.
Yes.
He uses us. We're his hands, we're his mouth, we're his arms, we're his legs. He uses people to accomplish what he wants to accomplish for other people. Understand that business exists to solve people's problems. If there is a business, it's there because there's a problem. So any business you see, if there's not a problem, they don't need to be around. And you cannot look and say to me, "Well, Bill, I know a business, but it's not there to solve somebody's problem." You know, I did a meeting at Keenan's church, and he had an out meeting there one night, and I came and did it, and I said, use this same example. I said, this church exists to solve problems.
Yep.
Now, what's your problem? Hell, eternal damnation.
Sure.
We kind of water it down by saying hell. Hell's easier to say than eternal. No, you're eternally damned. Did you know that? We might even say you're going to hell. Generally, we don't say anything. The point I'm making is that building is there because people have problems. Hospitals occur because there's problems. My sister was a beautician. You know the difference between a beautician and a hairdresser? Beautician works on old blue heads. And steering wheels like this, right? And her name was Anna Mae. And she never married, but she's a wonderful, wonderful woman. And took care of my parents when, gave up her life for my parents, like most women do later on in life when and the brothers won't help. But, so her name was Anna Mae's Hair Fashions. We solve hairy problems. Well, why do you go? Because you got a problem with your hair. I go in and my problem, they take care of it in about 4 minutes. Dip, 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 and that's 3 minutes of talking. Dip, 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 right? Understand, you're a problem solver, not a salesperson. Look at our products as solutions, not things people should buy. Fred, how are you doing?
Great.
How old are you now, Fred? 82?
5.
85 years old.
Looking good.
And when did you go to Mecca? When did you go to Mecca?
10 years ago.
At age 75, my age, he went to Mecca, and that was an ordeal, wasn't it hard? You were telling me how hard it was with 2 million other people. But, he believed in his cause, and he believed in what he was doing, and he did it. So that just tells you, keeps you young.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
But understand that when you see yourself as a problem solver, you no longer put yourself like you're trying to sell me something. What you got, right? I'm here to solve your problems. And if you don't want to listen, there's enough other people with problems I got to help them solve their problems. I'll give you about 2 or 3 minutes. I'll let you know you have problems.
Yeah.
I'll show you our solutions. But if you don't want to listen quickly, I'm going to move on down, because if you think I'm trying to sell you something, good luck. Now, you go to talk to somebody from a product standpoint, and they don't listen. All right? Does that problem now go away?
No.
Do they now understand the rule of 72?
No.
Do they now are starting to get 12% return on their CDs?
No.
Now are they properly protected, have enough life insurance so that...
No.
So we have to conjure up, we know where this is heading, we know the consequences of that problem. Now, most of us have a problem, and we don't realize we have the problem. When David Lipset, I was talking to one of his people the other day, said we just thought he had a cold. We just thought, he had a sinus problem. We just thought, right? Then all of a sudden, one day, he goes to an ENT. They say, well, next thing you know, there's cancer in his throat. Wow. My goddaughter is married to a guy named, wonderful human being, named David. And for about 6 months, he wasn't feeling well. They gave him antibiotics. He was getting in pain, but something's wrong. And one day, 2 o'clock in the morning, he was over dead from a blood clot. Wow. Opened him up, he was loaded with lymphoma.
Oh, wow.
So, just because you have a problem, it doesn't necessarily show up. And when it comes to people's problems, you have to commit yourself. They got a problem, and I'm the only solution to their problem. Not our products or services, you are. And so when you sit down with people, when you see a guy named Joe's Joe's Heating, we have air conditioning in Texas. We still have our air conditioning on, by the way. Wow. And we go from air conditioning to heat within 24 hours. And Joe's Heating and Air Conditioning, where do you think he's going? To sell them something. He's going to bother them. Mm-hmm. He's going to interfere. I know you're busy. Am I interrupting anything? Right? Do you have time? I know you're busy. I can come back. You listen to ourselves. When you see somebody in a car that's from Primerica and they're going down the road, where are they going? They're going to solve somebody's problem that he doesn't even know he's got the problem.
Yeah.
As an example, how many of you called Primerica to say, I heard about your company and I need to talk to you? Anybody here? Oh. What was your thought process when you got a call? What were you thinking a minute before you got the call? You weren't thinking about anything. You didn't even know you had a problem. You didn't even know you hated your jobs. You thought you were okay. You thought, because why? Well, everybody's like this.
Right.
Everybody I know is like this, right? So I just assumed that this is the way life is. You work hard, you go through 8 to 12 jobs, you struggle financially, you have $8 to $15, $20,000 in credit card debt. You hope to retire someday, but you don't see how, but you just hope, by the grace of God, something good's going to happen. I know I got a bad boss, but so does everybody. I know I hate that traffic every morning to the point where I want to throw up, but everyone does that. I hate my job so much. On Sunday nights, I hate the thought of going in, but everybody's like that. This is the way life has to be. Like my son Patrick has ADD. And he went into a therapist to get the medication for the ADD. And he go, wow, I thought everybody lived like I was living. Because he was living in the fog, and you ever been around somebody like that? And it's inherited, right? So the point is that when I had a whole life policy, I thought it was normal. Right. When I didn't like my job, and I kept thinking there's got to be a better way, and you look in the want ads, it's the same stuff. No one was calling me and saying Bill, there's something better out there. It's all the same stuff. Just different day, same stuff, right? Now here's the point I want to make. You've got to see yourself as a problem solver, and the way you have to see it is they've got problems. And you are the only one that can solve it. And there's nobody that come behind you and do a better job than you. Think about this. Can I come behind you? What's your name?
Kayla.
Kayla. Can I come behind you and do a better job for a client than you can?
No.
You sure? Listen, look at my experience. Look how long I've been doing this.
I'm pretty sure.
You're pretty sure. See, you're wrong. I can come behind you and do a better job for that client than you're doing. But I won't. Why? Because I don't live here. That's one. But the point is, I can't do a better job. But in your mind, there's got to be somebody in Detroit smarter than me, better than me, more experienced than me, that can do a better job for them than me. So therefore, you're saying that I'm pretty sure. No, nobody. You know why? When I made up my mind that nobody could come behind me and do a better job, because they won't be coming behind me, even if there was this person.
That's good.
One and only.
That's right. It's a one-shot deal. How many people here have been approached to join Primerica by more than one person prior to Primerica? One person. Well, which means what? That was the only shot you had.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God you did.
So let's look at the problems people have and how we could solve their problems. They got to be thinking this way before I get into doing the recruiting interview, right? I'm going to quickly go through stuff because I'm going to do a 30-minute presentation. And I want you to learn how I do the presentation, what I do and what I say. And it's not very good. But at least it's a presentation, because there's no bad presentations. And there's no good presentations. They're all just presentations. They don't know good or bad.
Right.
No one's ever said, oh, if Bill Whittle were here, he'd do a better job. Probably, but he ain't. I'm here, right? Just me.
No, and he can't.
No.
Thank you. So number one, first problem we solve is living too long problem. Now, Dan, I think I mailed out to you and a bunch of other people. If not, I can do it. Why Primerica, the math?
Oh, yeah.
It's a litany, isn't it? Problem.
Overwhelming.
It's amazing. And Daryl, how many slides, Daryl?
117.
He turned in 172 different slides, all math, all facts, figures, and statistics, no opinion. On the reality of it, right? From every conceivable thing regarding money and finance. So, who can come behind you, Zenaida, and do a better job than you for a person? Right? Let's look at him. Can a banker come behind you and do a better job? Please. He's a banker.
Yep.
How long have you been doing this?
6 years.
Oh, big deal. I've had 25 years in banking. What's your certification? What kind of title do you have? Personal Financial Analyst. I'm a chartered member of this. I graduated from the SMU School of Banking and Finance. You see all that stuff? And that's how we get our minds crisscrossed around. I'm just a nobody. So please do business with me, and you know, I'll throw some stuff out there. And no, bankers? What? They don't know squat about what we do.
That's right.
They don't even know the Rule 72.
That's true. That's so true.
They know you can lend them money or they lend you money. That's it. They know how to get you in debt.
Yep. Yeah, they're good at that.
All right, how about a lawyer? But what's your understanding? What do lawyers know? Well, he's a lawyer. No. Lawyers are ignorant. They know the law.
That's right.
That's all they know, right? Like you're a pilot, right?
Yep.
So you must know a lot about locomotive engines and it.
No.
You must know a lot about diesel engine. You gotta fly airplanes. But we automatically assume because they're a pilot, they're an engineer, they're a lawyer, they're an accountant, they must know a broad range of things. They don't. CPAs don't know anything about what we do. Solving their problem. They have opinions, but they're like everybody else. They have the same problems. And they can't even say, you ever sit down with a CPA that had a whole life policy?
Yep.
Did you ever sit down with a banker that had a whole life policy?
Yep.
Did you ever sit down with a lawyer that had a whole life policy?
Big time.
Did you ever sit down with a lawyer that didn't have a mutual fund?
Yep.
But see, we are intimidated by anybody that comes with a degree or has a fancy title or went to a university.
Yep.
And so what do? Instead of analyzing it, we cower. Oh, he's so smart and I'm not. Especially if you don't have a college degree. You know what it means if you don't have a college degree? Do you have one?
I do.
Oh, debt, right?
I actually don't, but
Congratulations. Anybody here have a college degree without debt? Congratulations. What's wrong with you? Un-American. You got in before, right? Before college debt got to be
Yes.
universal.
Yes.
So the point I'm making is that we always automatically assume that everybody is smarter and better than us. But understand, let's assume the bankers are. Let's assume the stockbrokers are. They're not going to come talk to those people. So you're one-eyed man in the land of the blind. But you're not. By the time you learn your stuff here, you know your stuff.
Right.
And nobody can come behind you and do a better job in solving their problems. Another thing,
that's right.
they don't even know they have a problem.
They don't. That's right.
Because if they knew they had a problem, they would be searching for a solution already.
Right.
It's true.
We're the ones that bring it up that, you got a problem. I'm not sure if you've ever done it. You ever been driving down the road and guy beats his horn and he's pointing to your back tire before they had these lights that come on? Now you get in a car, light comes on. Well, you didn't know there was a problem until the light came on. We're that light that comes on in their life.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Someone's got to let them know. That doesn't mean that we're going to take them on as a client or a recruit. Got the point?
Yeah.
So, living too long, do they know? And I ask people this question. On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you know about mutual funds? And they all lie. Well, I know about maybe 2 or 3. Do they not? Did you know your FIN number before you came to Primerica?
No.
Huh. Did you know the rule of 72 before you came to Primerica? Did you know how much money you got to be putting away so you can retire one day? No. Did you know how much life insurance you needed? Has anyone ever done a dime principle on you? No. I don't care how much money they're making, what neighborhoods they live in. I don't care the kind of cars they're driving. They've got problems that have not manifested themselves yet, but they're going to. It's a matter of time, and there's only one solution. You. And that solution is permanent when they sit down and talk to you. They no longer have that problem. When they enact, like I was talking to some people last night in San Antonio, I said, anybody ever read any books on money and finance? 2 hands went up. What'd you learn? Well, I went to Dave Ramsey's Financial Freedom something or other. I said, great. Did you do all he said? No, I didn't do anything.
That's exactly
Just because you get educated doesn't mean do anything.
right.
Right.
We get them to do something.
All right.
Another woman, I minored in personal financial thing at some, great. Did you, no, I didn't do any of that stuff. Do you understand you're more powerful than you think you are?
That's right.
On a scale of 1 to 10, if I were to ask you how powerful you are, on a scale of 1 to 10, if you were to tell me anything other than a 10, you're not being honest with yourself. You are a 10 in this person's life. You know, Zenaida, if you were to list, when I get on airplanes, one of the things I like to do is I like to see the pilot with some gray hair. Why? Because I know he's been around. Mm-hmm. He's been through this storm and that storm and wind shears and all that stuff, right? If you were to list your education here to qualify you to go talk to somebody, you'd astound yourself. If you have a Series 6 and 60, you know how many hours you got in this thing?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And you know what? I can't. The average person is between 500 and 700 hours into this thing already. Training, all these other stuff they've gone through, listening to CDs, coming to these classes, right? Learning all this stuff, 500 to 700 hours. And you turn around and say, well, here's a sheet of paper. How many hours do you have, Larry? What's your training here? I don't have any training. My 700 hours beats your 0.
Yes.
My 300 hours beats your 0.
Right.
They have nothing. It's like me trying to tell you all about being a pilot and flying. Well, what's your training? I have 0, but I got thoughts. So, how many hours did you have?
2,000.
2,000 hours of flight time.
Flight time.
That's not including training. So that means every time you go on an appointment, that's an hour, hour and a half of what? Flight time.
Good. That's good.
Is that the point?
Yeah.
You're learning all this stuff.
Yeah.
Last guy in here buys pizza. You got the pizza number? Never mind. We'll let you free on this one. I want you to walk out of here and go from whatever your mindset is, I'm just a little low, to I'm a 10. I know my stuff. They don't know anything. Therefore, I cannot cast my pearls before people not interested.
That's right.
I'll give you 5 minutes, Fred, and you better listen, and you better listen quick, because I've got millions of other people with problems that I got to get to. And if I waste 5 minutes on you, that means I'm not giving 5 minutes to somebody who's serious about solving their financial problems.
Right.
So I want you going on every appointment with a little bit of an attitude, smile on your face, Danielle. Hey, how are you doing? Listen, I'll give you about 5 minutes. And all the while, guess what I'm doing? I'm analyzing to what? Not to see if you're interested.
See if you're interested.
Thank you. I'm interested in seeing, should I leave and cut my losses short? I walk out nuts. I wasted 8 minutes on that guy. I should have been out of there in 2 minutes. I gave him 10.
Wow.
Because why? How much is he going to make off us?
Nothing.
Millions.
Yep.
Are we going to make millions off him?
No.
No. Even Virginia Carter made 20 million off me, but I made 32 million off her. Got the
Good
point?
deal. Yeah.
So they're always going to make a lot of money off your ideas.
Absolutely.
And you don't want to you paid for all these ideas. You paid for this information.
Yeah.
You don't want to give it to somebody for free. You work for free? Nope. Try that. I don't work for free. So when I sit down in a recruiting interview, I'm going to get names. That's my pay.
That's right.
You don't get names, you're saying, well, I gave it, because when you don't get names, you know what that says? I have no value to them, and he's got all the value. I need him more than he needs me. That's when you don't get names at the interview. All right? Now, problem, living too long, right? Dying too soon. Here's the math behind it all. And it's all documented, what you have there, Dan. Every American is $250,000 underinsured. Well, there's probably, how many people live in the greater Detroit area population?
5 million.
5 million, so there's at least, let's say, 1.2 million families. They're all $250,000 underinsured. We're starving to death in the middle of a grocery store. You can go out and your whole life is, can I give you a quote or an extra $100,000 of life insurance? And you write an app a day. Keenan did that one day. He asked 10 people. He wrote 3 life apps, $100,000 each. Why? They all know. If you got $250,000 underinsured, you kind of feel it. Now, if you have a $200,000 house, would you insure it for $50,000?
No.
If you had a $50,000 car, would you insure it for $15,000?
No.
Yet, when it comes to life insurance, 90% of the population
Underinsurance.
are grossly underinsured.
Yeah.
Yet we never talk to them about it. Never. No one is, okay? There was probably 100 people in the room the other day, and I said, how many people here know of anyone that sells life insurance for a living? Outside Primerica. I'll ask you. Anybody you know sells life insurance for a living, just life insurance, outside Primerica?
Just like,
What do they sell?
They sell burial insurance and a bunch of other kinds.
Sir, who do you
Cash
know?
value, final expenses.
All right. That's 2 people out of what? There aren't any. They don't exist. When I was growing up, like some of you, everybody had life insurance, and everybody had a life insurance agent. Everybody.
everybody did.
My mom's guy was Joe Tefler with Prudential. She was hit. Everyone has an agent, and I bought a policy from Joe Tefler, $25,000, $40 a month, right? Now there is none. So what's their problem? And if they do have life insurance, it's a little bit of group, and less than 1% of all the group pays off. So when we sit down with people, dying too soon, living too long, those are real problems. These are all documented. I can sit here and pull out your presentation and whiz bang you with the math behind it all. But in our minds, they got their acts together. In our minds, they don't need us. In our minds, we're bothering them. In our minds, I hate to, you got other things, and I'm just interrupting your life. But I promise you, if you don't get to them, those problems will manifest itself into real problems, like death. I just read yesterday where 16% of Americans that are retirement age right now have $200,000 or above the retirement. You hear me right? 1 out of 6 have enough money to retire on. Because why? Retirement is 20 years of unemployment. So how long do you plan to be unemployed? What do you mean? Well, statistics say you'll be unemployed for at least 20 years of your life. Well, that's between the time you quit work and the time you die.
Yep.
That's unemployed. Look at it as unemployment versus, well, they're retired, they just don't have enough money. Unemployment is what? Not having any money coming in from any source other than your nest egg, correct?
Yep.
So, do they have the problem of living too long?
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how much do you believe that, seriously? Number 2, dying too soon. How many? Anybody you meet, like you have a college degree, automatically assume how much debt you had. You got a college degree, you got debt.
That's right. Yeah.
If you're a woman, you got debt, really got debt, because 2/3 of all the student loans are debt. Are women. 2/3.
Wow.
Did you know that 1/3, 34% of all student loans are to people who don't have a degree?
Whoa.
Oh, wow.
Because we automatically say, well, is at least worth? No. I talked to a woman one day. She's got $60,000 of student loans. Went to 2 years of college.
Wow.
Whoa.
Are you bothered by that?
Yeah.
Then do something about it. Do something about it. You see, you can solve that problem. You got. Like I was telling Daryl, I saw on a computer today. True story. Google has come out with this new computer program that can solve this complex problem in 3 minutes and 40 seconds. That will take the most sophisticated, fastest computer on the planet 10,000 years to solve. In 3 minutes and 40 seconds. Are you impressed? But I could take a person that won't be out of debt for 2070 and get them out of debt in 3 years.
That's impressive.
I could take a person that's going to make $2 million over the course of their lifetime and show how to make over the next 40, 45 years and show them how to make that kind of money in the next 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
But you're not impressed by that? That's the speed of light for our kind of people.
Yes, yes, yes.
I became a millionaire in 9 years.
Amen.
Why? Because I'm so good? No. What happened was Virginia solved my problem. So you got to take a look at a job as a problem and not a thing that they're doing. How many people here believe there's a good whole life policy out there? There's got to be one good one out there, right? Because none of you believe it, right?
No.
Anybody here believe there's good CDs? But yet some of you believe it's good jobs. You must see a job, 100% off one, as a problem that needs to be solved and not a thing that we're doing that they may have an interest in. As an example, I was telling Daryl, how many folks here would like to at least would not mind if their children went through a bad marriage or 2 or 3 bad marriages? You wouldn't mind it, right? That's just life. That's the way it is. And what am I talking about here?
Divorce.
Would we, but not just divorce, it's the emotional brokenness, it's the financial brokenness, it's the fear, it's the worry, it's the anxiety, it's all this, right? Well, what do you think 100% off one is? It's a bad marriage many times over. You give them your heart, your soul, you give them your love, you give them your time, you give them your education, and what do? They let you go. Sorry, didn't work out. And you go, okay, and go to the next one. What do you think's happening to these people? You heard me talk about this. Alzheimer's causes 120,000 people a year to die. A year, 120,000. Yet there's an Alzheimer's Association. And anyone with Alzheimer's, and if you know they're going to have Alzheimer's, how do you feel about them? Wow. And who do you feel bad for? The caretaker. 88,000 people a year die because of diabetes. They've got an Alzheimer's Association and a Diabetes Association, but we know that 120,000 people a year die from job stress. More than Alzheimer's and diabetes. The 5th leading cause of death in America is job stress. Much like diabetes doesn't kill anybody.
Nope.
It's all the effects on the organs that kills them. Same thing, job stress doesn't kill anybody. It's all the effects in all the other areas. Would you agree that a major cause of cancer is stress?
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you agree that a major cause of heart problems is stress? So, yeah, but what could you do to somebody that's facing job stress? Let them know that there's a better way called 1% off 100. I can get you out of this job stress hell. You know, twice a week I'm in once a week I'm in bad traffic one way. Every Tuesday night when I go to the office. Bumper to bumper, 45 minutes, no matter what I do, and please don't be an accident.
Right.
And I cannot imagine doing it twice a day. A day. and go, well, that's fine. Tell me there's no stress on that roadway.
Every day.
We don't have Primerica rage, but they got road rage.
Right, right.
And we don't think anything of it. What is wrong with us being satisfied? Well, that's just the way life is, John. You're going to have that bad marriage, about 4 or 5 of them. And you can have that job stress every day, an hour, one way, every day. Road rage hell. Back and forth. You don't get paid, do you? Going to work every day?
No.
But see, we go there and we think that's the way life should be. But we have to say, that's a problem that needs to be solved. Remember my son said, I thought everybody felt this way. I started taking the medication, they solved my problem, and I thought, holy moly, this is a whole new life. You know, we talk in Romans about slave to sin. Look up the word slave, which means you can't get out. And you realize there's a what? Another way.
Right.
So what we have to understand is we are problem solvers. They got a problem, and if they've got a problem, we cannot sit there and dwell there until they figure it out. We've got to give them what? Like the Bible says, go into town, tell your story quickly. If they don't listen, kick the dust and move on. Here's quickly to me, 5 to 8 minutes. I'll give you 5 to 8 minutes of my time. And you better listen quickly, because I don't have time to fool with you. If you don't want a better life, if you're not willing to fight for a better life, if you're not willing to get some new ideas for a better life, I know how that's going to end. I know how many bad marriages you'll go through. I know you'll never be able to retire. Do you hear what I just said?
Yep.
Do you understand the consequences of ignoring what we're saying? I mean, you can have to work until the day you die. When you hear, unless you have money coming in, you can have to work until the day you die, and it doesn't, and they don't listen. We give them the warnings. We tell them it's coming. The light on the dashboard is going blink, 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 and they're going, like my cousin used to say. She didn't have any money. So whenever she heard a noise on a car that she wondered what was wrong, she turned up the radio.
Oh,
Don't we all do that? Like my old girlfriend I used to have years ago, the mother didn't want to go to the doctor for fear of what the doctor might find wrong. We ignore stuff ourselves, don't we? We ignore the warning signs, don't we? Guy comes home, the wife says, I want a divorce. He said, I didn't, where did this come from? You haven't been listening. You've been ignoring. And people are ignoring. They read the newspapers, they hear it, they see it, they ignore it. 50% of all Americans don't even put their money in a 401k when it's available and they get free money. Less than 30% of all Americans even have access to a 401k. 30%. Now, around this area is probably higher because of the big corporations. Do you know what percentage of people even have corporate health care? 27%. Well, everybody's got and then we got the rest of us are getting stuck like crazy with healthcare costs, right? Because 20% don't have to pay anything,
Right.
and then bottom 20% don't have to pay anything. So 50% of all the people got to pay for all the healthcare costs for 73% of all Americans. That's why it's so expensive. So, do you think those costs are going to go up or down? Do you think we got a recession coming?
Yes.
It's life, right? We got one coming. They're all predicting whenever it is. When recession comes, you think some of your friends are going to lose their jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a problem?
Yes.
Do you have a solution?
Yes.
Do you want them to tell them after they lose their job or before they lose their job? See, Primericans aren't what we always say we are. I love helping people. No, you don't. You like telling our story. And whether or not they become your client is inconsequential because you don't see the ramifications if they don't. This one guy, I forgot his name, but he was head of Salvation Army. And they have a rigorous 22-week training program. And at graduation, he apologized to him. He said, I know it's 22 weeks. I know it's rigorous. I know it's hard. But we got to put you through it. But if I can get you 5 minutes in hell, you won't need any of this training. If I can get you 5 minutes with Larry Bland 10 years from now, you won't need any of this stuff. You won't even need to be here. I don't need any of this stuff, Bill. I've got appointments. I'm just going to work like, because why? Because I spent 5 minutes with myself 10 to 15 years from now, and that was hell. So the point is that we don't think it's as bad as it's going to be, folks. You sit down with a couple, they have no life insurance, not properly protected. We're good, we're good, we're good. He's not even around, and he died. And then she's left over with the results, the consequences. Do you know the consequences of not having any life insurance? You understand it, right? You are prepared right now not to have any life insurance. And if you die, there's a good chance you're going to die, by the way. We just don't know when. But why? How come our insurance is more expensive than group? Because every one of our clients died, and we need to pay a death claim. None of theirs do. They have if you don't have a job, you lose your. If they pay their premiums, we're going to pay a death claim. They don't have to pay a death claim. Why? Because people come and go, and just kind of right. So you got to be prepared when you go in to release quickly, because if not, you're a beggar and you don't feel good about yourself. And when you don't feel good about yourself, you don't want to do it again, because you think you're bothering people. That's what I did for 6 months. And after that, I made up my mind, no, I've got too much to offer. I'll make a little bit of money on them. They'll make a fortune off me. And they better listen, because I've got other people. Because if I dwell too long with them, I waste 5 minutes too long with you. I'm not getting 5 minutes to somebody who deserves it, who's ready to solve their problems. Remember that movie, Gone with the Wind?
Yeah.
And Scarlett O'Hara is there helping the doctor during the Battle of Atlanta. And what does he do? He tells her to put what? A red mark on the band of the bandages of those that are not going to make it. You have to make decisions on who's not going to make it, because there's only one doctor.
That's right.
And if I'm spending time on a guy that's not going to make it, I wasn't able to save these 5. That's the way you got to look at it. I only got so much, and I don't have time to fool with people.
That's true.
There's some places I will not go to in my hierarchy, because it won't make a difference. There's no evidence that they want what I've got to offer them. And I'm not saying they're bad people.
Right.
Because I'm not for everybody. My cup of tea is not for everybody. The Art Williams way is not for everybody. I could have packed this place today by saying we're going to have a variable annuity class and how to make $100,000 a month on variable annuities. They'd be packed to the rafters. Because what? That's their mindset. I was in a car the other day being picked up by somebody in San Antonio, not my hierarchy, one of David Lips's people. Lovely lady, but about 15 minutes of pure hell. You know, Bill, I got this guy coming tonight, and he is a bus driver. And, you know, he's been a bus driver for many, many years. He was supposed to come last week, but he couldn't make it because his mother-in-law got sick. And, his mother-in-law's been sick for a long time, and so he couldn't make it. And he's got a wife. They're not married. But his wife works for, and she went on and on and on about this bus driver. And he couldn't make it. And you understand, his wife was sick, and she had this bad arthritis, and one of the kids were sick. I'm thinking, when they tell you the whole story, you know what that means? That's only one she's talked to.
Yep, ain't got nothing going on.
Yep.
Wow.
But she was a nice lady, and I was there for David, and so I just let her go on, and she was driving. But have you ever been around people?
Yep.
You ask him what time it is. Let me tell you how to make a watch. About this one guy, and I've got a good appointment 2 weeks from now, and this guy is good. I met him at church, and he and his wife came to church, and I met him afterwards. We had cookies, and these cookies were incredible, and because they put those little chocolate things in them, and they put the sprinkles on top of it. And I invited him over, and we had a cup of coffee, and he liked his coffee a lot. His background, he's originally from, he's not. You ever been around those people?
A lot.
Wow.
Are you one of those people?
No.
No. The point I'm making is you're a problem solver and you only have so much time. And if Jesus Christ, who's the Savior of the world, can say, go into a town, they don't listen quickly, kick your dust and move on.
Yep.
And a lot more a value story than we're telling in their internal scope of things, right? With that in mind, all right, I'm going to show you how I do a 30-minute recruiting interview. But you've got to be prepared to get the heck out of Dodge. You got 1 foot in the meeting and 1 foot out. Wrong thing, blink wrong, say the wrong word, I'm gone. All right? What's this all about? What you're selling? What's your spiel? How much time is this going to take? That's not a start of a very good relationship. I don't need to get married, right? I'm checking you out. When you first meet a guy or a gal, right, well, you're checking each other out, right? Why? To figure out whether or not you get out of there. So the whole purpose of any...
Pull it down here.
You have
No,
a...
right here. Top.
It's not.
This one doesn't work. This one follows me wherever...
Tested them all too.
Throw that out. They haven't used these boards in quite a long time, so the markers might not.
Listen, I'm happy you have an overhead. Whenever I speak somewhere, they say, what do you need? I say, you got an overhead? They go, oh,
What?
let me see if I can find
Well,
one.
we had to set this up, Bill, because
Yeah,
it
we
wasn't
had
ready.
to go find
I
them
knew
for
what you
this.
needed.
Hey, the youngins found it. They found
No, I don't need
the
that.
screen.
I don't need
Y'all figured it out. I'll give you credit.
We tested them all. We did.
Well, anyway, this one worked.
Try writing on this.
No, it's not. No, the
Same
markers
thing.
are markers.
Oh.
Same thing, same.
Oh.
Yeah. This is erasable. This is, you gotta move it all the time. Thank you though for doing it, all of you who did it. Again, what's the whole purpose? I mean, I gotta get paid. So this is NAME $. I'm there to get paid for the information I'm giving them, whether or not they choose to use it. All right? Then I'm going to put right here a time limit on my presentation to decide at that moment to either bail to the F&A or to continue. Because at some point in time, I'm looking at them, I'm talking to them, I'm investigating them. Thank you, Daryl. Well, these are permanent, unfortunately.
No. Those are erasable. Those
Yeah,
are
but
what-
they need water.
Oh, yes.
It needs water.
Yeah.
Oh.
Done this once or twice, Daryl. Not my first rodeo, as they say in Texas. Understand that you have to be talking constantly. We solve problems, and people have problems that we are the only solution to. Right? Now, I might make a mistake and say something wrong, and I have to stop and correct it. Right? But I put here on top problems, solutions, so I don't forget what I'm talking about. So I sit down with you and I say, Daryl, how much time do you have? You got about 30 minutes. I ask him questions and I answer the questions for him. Now, my presentation is for me to connect with them, not just to vomit on them.
Right.
I want to know what he's thinking. I want to know where he's at. You're going to hear me stop, ask questions, and see and dwell on the answers a little bit, right? Now I know he's got about 30 minutes. Probably has longer, but now in my mind, I'm thinking what? I've got 25 minutes. The last 5 minutes is for what? Names. The presentation isn't over till you get the names. Why? Because the names solve my problem and solve his problem. You don't get the names, you can't solve his problem. Does anybody here have a good interview? The guy was really excited, never came back.
Yeah.
So he still has the problem, didn't he?
Yeah.
Why? Because you didn't offer him a solution. Because if he had the names, you can call him back and say, John, give me another day. You're going to see this work for you. Then he won't have that problem anymore, right? And I go through, we solve people's problems. And people have 4 problems in life that we solve. That's what I do. I'm a problem solver. We are not in sales. We don't sell. We solve problems. So I take off the table what? We're in sales, right? I don't like sales. We're not in sales, right? And it looks like this. We call it decreasing responsibility theory. And I always use the live first. Live too long. And the problem people have is they live too long and they outlive their money. As an example, Daryl, how old do you plan to be when you retire?
When I get enough money.
Well, no. Daryl, you're Daryl of 10 years ago, right?
Okay. 65.
65. Where'd you come up with that number?
Everybody retires at 65.
Well, that's an old pension program number. In America today, there are no pension programs. And the reality is that you can retire when you have enough money. Retirement is now an age, not an age, it's an amount. Like Daryl, you're going to have at least $1 million+ to retire. And I, as of yesterday, I'm using this one too. Do you understand when you retire, that really means you got about 18 to 20 years of unemployment? They understand that now. You'll be unemployed at age 65 or 70 for 18 years. You're going to have to live off your nest egg between now and age 65 or 70. Got the point? Because you're going to be unemployed. Here's the difference in what it's getting to him, right? And in America today, we know that 85% of the people are not going to retire. Yet they think they are. They have a problem that they think is going to be automatically fixed because they're not doing anything about it. Have you ever thought about where are you going to get enough money so you can retire and be unemployed for 18 to 20 years, Daryl? You haven't bothered you? Do you have a 401k?
Oh, yeah, I think
Are you maxing out?
No.
Did I have a 401k? Where are you putting it? Wherever they told me to put it. Is it the best place? Got the point?
Yeah.
I really start hitting it there. Why would it be, well, you said 65. Is it important that you retire at 65?
Yeah, I want to retire when everybody else retires.
The point is, though, you're going to need $1 million. Can you have it between now and 65? Statistically, can you, the way you're going right now, can you see yourself at $1 million when only 16% of all Americans have $200,000 or more? It's a very rare number of people that can retire in the way they think they retire. Now, is that good or bad?
That's bad.
If I can solve that problem for you, that'd be of interest, right?
Yes.
See how I turn that into a problem that I can solve for you. But what if I can solve it for everybody else in Detroit too?
Oh, wow.
Everybody else in Detroit. Because they got the same problem. There's 4 million people in Detroit, probably 1.5 million families, right? That's 1.5 million people with the same problem you've got. right? They don't have their financial act together. On a scale of 1, have you ever read a book on money and finance?
No,
Is that good or bad?
that's bad.
Have you ever had a class on money and finance?
No,
Is that good or bad?
that's bad.
Why is that bad?
Because it tells me that I don't know enough about money.
Is that good or bad that you don't know enough about money? See how you dwell on it? See, I love talking with people when they start talking about giving me phrases, but they don't understand it, like poor. You got to help the poor, right? What do you mean by poor? Right? You want to help the poor? What do you mean by poor? Oh, I don't know, but poor. Rabbi Lapin says poor means this. They don't know where they're going to sleep tonight. They don't know where their next meal's coming from. That's poor. That's a biblical definition of poor. But how many people you know like that? Right? But we tend to think, well, poor is anybody making less money than us is poor. So we're the largest to solve that problem. We're the largest individual marketers of mutual funds in the United States. Now, this takes about 3 minutes. Because why? I'm watching my watch. In fact, when I was in my heyday, I used to use my right hand. Why? Because I would be watching my watch because it's now 1:30 or what, right? And so I know by 5 minutes to 2, I got to be wrapping up, getting the names, and so I can't be talking, right? And I know at what time I need to be wearing the presentation, right? Because I got to get the names. Because he's not any better off. I solve none of his problems, but I don't get the names. I want to solve his problems. If he's got the names in his cell phone, there's no solution. If those names are on my sheet of paper, I can solve that problem and get him 100 people in 6 months, right? On a scale of 1 to 10, what do you know about mutual funds? Well, I don't know that much, right? Is that good or bad?
Bad.
See, he's telling me he's got a problem, and he's starting to be awakened. Wow, I have a problem. All right? Now, if he's giving me any stuff, what's this all about? Right? I'm taking note. But there's what? There's a line.
Time factor.
Rubicon moment's coming. I'm going to have to bail. You know, I don't fool with people. I've got other people to talk to. I got 10 other appointments this week. Woe to that person that you present to and you're their only appointment that week. Oh, because you are going to unload everything on them because you ain't got anybody else to talk to. You'll be there all day, right? Anybody goes through what mutual funds are, right? Pooling of money, blah, blah, blah. See, they will solve your financial problems because guess what 401ks are? Mutual funds. Guess where pension people put their money in? Mutual funds. It solves everybody's financial problem, but you didn't even know you had a problem, right? The next problem we solve is dying too soon. Again, it's very simple. 2, 3, 4 problems we solve. I'm going to hit all 4 of those, right? Dying too soon means that 85% of all Americans are grossly underinsured. Do you know anyone that handles life insurance to help people get life insurance to protect and solve the problem of dying too soon? No. You don't even know anybody. No. Do you have any personal life insurance?
No.
Where do you have your do you have any personal life insurance with group?
Well, I got my job, you know.
Well, how much group is that?
About 50,000.
Did you know that was temporary? That doesn't
What?
fix your problem because it's temporary as long as you're there. Because if you leave there, you leave behind your. Did you know that?
Oh.
See, that's a problem you have that needs to be solved.
Right.
Group insurance is a problem that needs to be solved. I got a whole life policy. It's a problem that needs to be solved. And again, if he has a whole life policy, which is rare, I explain it right then and there, right? Probably take more time and less on the opportunity than I just postpone it to do more the next day with the opportunity. Well, we know that 85%, would you, again, you have a $200,000 house, would you have $50,000 on it? No. Just what I did with you folks, right? Well, how much life insurance do you have on your life now, Daryl?
Just
50?
50,000.
Now, again, too, you know, if you're making what you're making, let's assume you're making $50,000 a year, that'll last your wife and children about a year. And then what? How long are those kids going to be around? How old are your kids, right? Mm-hmm. Under the age of 4, right? Yeah. 3, right? Long time underinsured. See, that's a problem that needs to be solved. But see, we can solve that problem. You know, Starbucks changed its name recently. I'm not sure you know about it. It's now called $5. And I write down 5 right there. Right? And there's a guy I said, you drink Star? Yeah, how much? Every day. How much you spend? He said, about $5. And this is normal when going to Starbucks, $5, right? Here's what we do to solve both those problems for what a Starbucks is, or a Diet Coke and a fry, right? Whatever it is, bag of chips, candy bar, right? For $2.50 a day, you can get $300,000 of protection in your life and $200,000 on your wife's life. That would solve that problem of being underinsured, wouldn't it?
Yes.
And for $2.50 a day here, you have about $300,000 to retire on. That's not all you need, but at least it's a beginning. Got the point? For $5 a day. That's chump change, right? Don't you blow $5 a day on stuff?
Oh yeah.
Got the point? That's valuable. You know, we have to never underestimate how powerful that is. Now, what do you like best about what I've just said so far, Daryl? You notice I'm stopping, and what am I doing? I'm bringing him in, and I want to know what his concern is, and he brings me out something. I'm going to dwell on it. Daryl, what do you like best what I've said so far?
Oh, well, the best part about it is that you showed me where my exposure is.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other part about that is that you just showed me a way to protect my family and start putting money away.
Now, why is that important to you?
Well, because I
Dwelling on it, you got the point? Go ahead.
I thought it was going to be more complicated than that. And now I can protect my family and protect my future.
What are you more interested in, protecting your family or your future right now?
My family,
Why is that important to you?
because they're dependent on my income.
Yep. See what I mean? Now I'm isolating it. So, in other words, that's more of a problem in your mind. See, the nice part about our system is you can put $3, $4 here, and $1 or $2 there. Got the point? So we can solve that problem. See, at this bailout point, I'm moving on. Now, if I'm not getting what I need, what's this all about? What time is it? You know, what I also like to do is say, you know, reason I like talking to you right now because Larry said you'd be listening just like this. You know, Larry referred me to Daryl, right? So I'm saying, you know what Larry liked the best? He liked exactly what you liked. Larry liked this. Larry had the same problems you have, and he liked our solution. So I mentioned Larry. Why? Because Larry referred me to him, and what am I going to be asking in a few minutes? Because Larry thought enough of you, guess what I'm planning in his mind? All right?
Against somebody else.
Now, I made the decision to go forward. I have made the decision.
That's good. That's really good.
He didn't blink. He didn't say, what's the scheme? What's the deal? What you pushing? What you selling? And then at that point, I said, he needs an F&A because obviously, until he gets an F&A, you won't understand all of this. Until I can show you your problem, you won't understand our solution. Our financial needs analysis. See, our company's name is Primerica Financial Services, but I work in a division called Primerica Financial Solutions. It's a division of Primerica. Got the point? Now, I go into, there's the third problem that we solve. The third problem we solve can be explained by a man named J. Paul Getty. J. Paul Getty said, instead of having 100% of your income come off of one, it is better to have 1% coming off 100. Now, I'm going to do this again tomorrow at the manager's meeting. And you're going to hear a different meeting. Why? Because you're different. I'm going to say a little bit different stuff. I'm going to eliminate some stuff, add some stuff, because no meeting is identical to the one before. I forget stuff, I add stuff, you know, things change. I heard yesterday unemployment for 20 years, so I'm adding that. You listen to my tape, it's not on there. I didn't have Larry recommended I talk to you. Why? forgot, right? I was going through the presentation, and but this time I'll remember it. See, J. Paul Getty said instead of having 100% of your income come off of one, it is better to have 1% coming off 100. What that means, Daryl, is everybody, and me included, at one time in my life, I had a problem. My income's off of me, and I couldn't. You ever want to make more money than you're making now? But you can't because it's all on you. Do you ever wish that your income were more secure, where you never lose your income ever?
Oh yeah.
Is that a problem? You can't make more money, and you can lose your income, right?
Yes.
That's because all your money's coming off of 100% off one. He's saying that 1% off 100, like my manager up in Dallas, Texas, his income comes off of 4,000 people. 4,000 people. So his income's pretty secure, and he makes a lot of zeros at the end of his one, right? Why? Not because he's that good, because he said other people. Got the point?
Right.
So that makes it. Do you ever think that your job is a problem that needs to be solved, and how? Do you ever worry about whether or not you lose your job? And ask you, would you want your child to be in a bad marriage?
No.
How about 5 or 6 bad marriages?
No.
You know, in many ways, the job's like a marriage. You kind of marry it. And you ever have anything bad happen to you on your job?
Oh yeah.
You want it to happen again?
No.
Got the point? I'm solving that problem. He wants this. He just doesn't know it exists. Everybody wants this solution, right? Then I go into what's it like. You must say, we're just like real estate. Now, why do I say that? Because it eliminates what's it like. If I were going to fix somebody up with a girl, he's want to know what's she like. And I got this great restaurant I want you to go to. Well, what's it like? There's this church I want you to go to. What's it like? So if you don't answer that question, what's it like, you're opening yourself up for all kinds of not very complimentary examples, like multi-level, network marketing, heaven for pyramid, all that stuff, right? Because if you say, well, I say we're just like real estate. So now in their mind, they know what we're like. And that 95% of the time, that'll eliminate any, well, it looks like, which I would say, well, we're just like real estate. But it looks like we're just like real estate. If you talk to older people, they'll say pyramid. Which what? It's a what? It's a bad sign for me. Because I'm thinking, should I fool with him? I have to make the decision at that time because he just offended me. Right? He didn't know it, but he did. And you offend the doctor, go trying to find another physician. I'm the only one that can cure you. Because you know why? Danielle's not here. And Dan's not here. I'm the only one here, right? So it's just like real estate. In real estate, you have agents. Watch how they tell me what they want, and it's identical to what we have. Watch. You think they don't want this? They do. Watch how they answer the questions. If you had a $100,000 house, an agent would make about $3,000 in what? Solving the problem of a house. They solve people's problems. I need a place to live. On this budget, I got a house for you. I'll solve that problem. You see that? Eliminate the word sales, because sales is a defamatory word, because it's a put-down word. You're in sales. He's just in sales. But in order to be an agent, you can only become an agent by what? Having a broker enroll you, train you, and develop you. Now, why would a broker want to do that? Why do you think? Because they make, Daryl, $2,000 every time you help a person out with a house.
Right.
Now, if you're going to be in real estate, Daryl, would you rather make $3,000 helping people with a house, or $2,000 overriding the agents?
2,000 override.
Now, what did he just tell me he wanted?
Over
Solve
what you
problems.
have. You
Yes!
want to
Yes!
solve problems.
Now, again, nobody wants to sell, but everybody wants to override. Why do we have a problem with what Art said? We don't trust Art. We trust the company telling us all kinds of stuff, right? And the wholesalers. Listen to this. If you're going to be in real estate, you'd rather be a broker than an agent, right, Daryl?
Yes.
How many agents would you want?
Woo!
Many.
I don't know if it's a number that high.
So guess what I start doing? I start drawing the, you know what this ring is called?
World champion.
Circle of Champions, because I am a champion at drawing circles.
Love it.
Thank you, Patrick. Patrick designed this, by the way.
Did he?
Really?
I'll show you how in 2011 he came up with a recognition thing for one of our fast art schools with a ring on it that identical to this. 2011. Again, why would you want? How many would you want? What if you had 5?
5.
And they all generated one client this month, help one person this month. Times 2,000, you just made $10,000 that month.
Wow,
You see?
Get 5.
Do you have to be there when it happens? No.
No.
You see, now you're becoming a 1% off 100 thinker. Got the point?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, we also have Century 21, or you may have a local person here that is a big, everyone knows their name, and they got plenty of offices. I recommend you use that name because they see it all the time.
Right.
Century 21, we have a woman named Ebby Halliday in Dallas. Her name is Ebby Halliday. And she's a big real estate broker in Dallas. And everyone, you've heard of Ebby Halliday? Yes. See, the reason why she makes $1,000 every time someone generates solves a problem. And her job is not to get agents, her job is to get brokers. Why? Because every time a broker comes on, the brokers get the agents. And any time a house is sold, she makes what? $1,000 in override. Now, if you're going to be in real estate, would you rather be a broker or Ebby Halliday?
Yeah.
And how many agents would you want? Brokers would you want?
A lot.
Lots of.
And so what do? I draw the circles of the brokers. And in fact, Ebby's got 26 of them. And she's got, 10,000 agents. So I'm what? He told me what he wanted. That turns me off. This is what you wanted. Why do we think we're so odd and weird?
It's good.
We're not. We're like real estate, but yet we think we're this stupid thing that you got hooked into yourself. Some of you think this is a side hustle. You treat Primerica like it's a side hustle. By the way, you can make some extra money. We sell a bunch of stuff. You see, you want to buy anything? You want to sell any of this stuff for us? Right? Now, what makes sense here to you about being an Ebby Halliday? What makes sense to you?
Man, I can never run out of money because I always got a whole lot of brokers out there, and those brokers are always looking for new agents.
Take a look at this. You can make what? More money,
Yes.
and it's secure.
Yes.
That's why you want a 1% off 100 life. You see, I can solve the problem of that 100%, because I was that same way. If I didn't work, I didn't get paid. I used to work for corporate America, and I wouldn't get my bonuses, and eventually they shut down the plant, right? People lost jobs. You know what's around here, recessions come and go, right? Strikes come and go, right? I always like to have, you always get a paycheck. Always for the rest of your life, you never miss.
Yes.
Yes.
And it's always going to be going up. You never have to beg for, see, that's what 100% off, 1% off 100 life will be. The only decisions he's having to make, does he want to live his life as 100% off one? Or how does he want to make his money 1% off 100? And I'm telling him the problem is 100% off one's the problem.
Yeah.
Think about it as a problem. What's wrong with 100% off one? Many marriages, bad marriages, 8 to 12 of them to be exact. You got to maybe move. 3 to 4% pay raises, bad bosses, a daily commute of an hour both ways for no pay. Got the point?
Yeah.
And then you become obsolete, and there's something called in America called age discrimination. The older you get, the less attractive you are to companies because why? You're not technologically savvy, right? Now, our business is just like this, but better. Watch this. Again, my whole purpose is to help you solve the problem 100% off one by having a 1% off 100 life. You ever hear of Warren Buffett?
Yes.
I love using the quotes. He said, unless you have money coming in while you sleep,
Yep.
you're going to have to work until the day you die. Do you have money coming in while you sleep right now?
No.
Then you're going to have to what? To work until the day you die. Is that something you'd want?
No.
Why? Why wouldn't you want that?
Work
What
sucks.
kind of life is that? Yeah.
See, because why? Wouldn't you want to have more time with your family?
Yes.
See, how you if you have 1% off 100, you have more time with your family, don't you? Because you don't have to be there to have the money coming in.
Right.
By the way, in aside, do you understand there's two things you cannot have in America outside of our business? The only place you can find it is here. More money and more time. You cannot find those two things anyplace else. Think about it. Where can you find those two things? Name it. General Motors? See, in America, the problem we have when we show people our system, if we don't explain it correctly, we automatically assume they want more money,
But we have to work harder.
but guess what? You have to have more time.
Time. Yeah.
You talk to anyone making $250,000 a year, you don't want their life.
That's right.
Right.
You don't.
No time.
I don't care. Like the woman who heads up General Motors right now. Whoa! Tell me all the time she's spending with her kids.
None.
Especially with the strike going on, right? The point I'm making is, name it, doctor, dentist, lawyer. You want to make more money. You don't want their life. You say, well, I know people making $250,000 not in Primerica, they're in real estate. You know the stress they got in their life? See, you know what stress I have in my life? Zero. My management takes care of me when I go home, right?
The management.
See, in our business only, you can find it only. The more money you make, the less time you put in.
That's right.
How often is Asaad here? Right? But he's making money off of Ian Pruckner, right? Take a look at Leo Sonkin out in San Diego. He's never been in this office. He's never been in Asaad's in Ian's office. He makes $350,000 a year off those guys. Don't you want that for them? Isn't it solving a problem they got? Who in the heck would want their problem when I got my solution? Got the point?
Yes, sir.
So our business just like real estate. We have reps. Now this is not any good, but it gets the job done. Don't say, well, these numbers aren't really accurate. Who cares? I'm not putting this on PowerPoint in front of a legal team. I'm trying to show on a yellow pad, right? If a rep, when they go out there, and remember all those people have the problems of dying too soon, living too long, right? They solve that problem. Got the point? And all his friends have that problem. You got 100 people in your cell phone. They all got this problem. Got the point? He makes about $400 every time he has a solution. By the way, what's that number you have? What's that called? A
Solution.
solution number, isn't it?
Oh, very
Like it.
cool. I like it.
Stop saying people Primerica Financial Services. Start saying Primerica Financial Solutions. If they push you, it's a division of, right? Your division, but it's a division of.
Right, good.
Now again, you got about 80 people in your cell phone that need to have solutions. That'd be about $32,000 in income to you right in your cell phone. Tell them that. They got about $32,000 sitting in your cell phone. You'd like to buy a new car in the next 12 months?
Yeah.
It's in your cell phone. They all got problems that need to be solved.
That's good.
But then we have managers. Managers make about $200 every time one of their reps solve a problem, right? So if you're going to be in our business, think about real estate. Would you rather be a rep or a manager? Why?
Make more money.
Because the 1% off 100, it solves your time problem, everything, right? And how many reps would you want?
I can't count that, huh?
See, the point I'm making? So if you had 10 reps and they all had one solution this month, guess what you just did? That's $2,000 in income. And where are you while this money's being made? You're not there. You're at home with your kids. That's the time. That solves your problem. Solves your time problem, your money problem, right? But we also have something called RVPs. They make $400 every time a solution is created by one of these reps. But their job is not to train reps. Their job is to what? Get the managers who get the reps. Now, would you rather be a regional vice president or a manager?
Regional vice president.
Why? More money, more time, and how many would you want? Ba 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 ba, right? Now, if you had 100 people like this, right? 100, off 100, and only 20 of them helped a solution this month at $400 a piece, you just made $8,000 this month. Wouldn't that be incredible? Now, you might be golfing, you might be with your family, you might be at church. Still make $8,000 without having to be there. Now, what do you like best? Well, what I should go into that, right? Let's see. I have to erase this. All right? Now, here, I want to share something with you right now. My whole goal is to solve your problem of 100% off one and help you get 1% off 100. But here's the difference, Daryl. Here's Bill. Here's Daryl. See, you think I'm asking you to come work for me. No. Here's Daryl. Here's Bill. I want to work for you. Would you rather have me? You come work for me, or would you rather have me come work for you? Because that's what I do. I work for people. You're not the only one I have I'm doing this with. Understand it? You're one of those I want to add to the people I'm doing this with. Notice how I'm going to set that up, right? Why? See, Daryl, would you rather go home and wonder whether or not this works or have me prove it to you?
Prove it to me.
Now, why would he say that? Then one, I just eliminated, he's going to go home and think about it, because he just told me he wants me to prove it to him, right? Daryl, you got 100 names in your cell phone. Now, you've heard about, and I go through the rule of 72, correct? I do the rule of 72. Why? They've never heard, thanks to Tharman, he's the one that really brought it out to me, Zenaida, the word compounding. Did you know about compounding prior to Primerica? Did you know? You did? Most people don't, right? So how are they supposed to know? So I can't explain to them compounding, and you get these people, get people, and three, get three, nine. They've never understood it. But now I understand what? The rule of 72? How you can take $10,000, turn it into $2.4 million. And what do you have to do once you put the $10,000 in?
Nothing else.
That solves that problem, doesn't it? You don't even have to know what you're doing. But I also talk about the penny a day doubling daily. Would you rather have a penny a day doubling daily or $1 million cash? I'll tell you the answer, penny a day. And I go through quickly those, believe it or not, you can do this in 30 minutes. You go through those two elements. Why? Because I'm about to show him compounding of people. The same thing that works with money, the 10,000 and a penny works with people. Well, here's an example. Here you, Daryl, right? Now, I just want to show you this as an example because I want to prove it to you, Daryl. I want to solve your problem, and I want to solve the people in your cell phone's problem.
Okay.
Now, in your cell phone, you got at least 3 people. Number one, they'd be your pallbearers. God forbid something were to happen, right? Other one, people that are pretty ambitious and money motivated. Now, Daryl, who are the 3 people in your cell phone? I just want to do this to explain it to you, right?
Okay.
Notice how I'm warming him up. I'm not saying, give me the names. I'm going to call them, right? I need the names to explain this, right? But I need to have them married and ambitious. Now, why do I not want non-marrieds?
Because they're out of market.
Now, what I'm going to say to him is, I know the single mom. Listen, we want to get all the single moms we can, But I just want for this explanation,
Yep.
I want married people because it works better, ratios are better. Got the point?
Yes.
Now he better be what? Married.
Yeah.
Well, he's not married. Then why are you sitting down talking to
Talk to
him?
her. That's right.
Because he's the only one you got. That's why they talk to non-marrieds. NM, non-married, also means no money. Now, Daryl, who are the 3 people that at 2 o'clock in the morning your car broke down, right? But they've got to be ambitious and somewhat money motivated to have a better life, right? Because I can't work with people that, and you know the people that they're just not motivated, right? I don't want those people, Daryl. You know how I qualify them? Well, I know Larry, I know Bill, I know John, right? Now, if I were to give these people a call and say, let's have a cup of coffee, what do you think they'd say? They say, sure. I answer it for them, right? Why? Because it's just information, just a cup of coffee.
Correct.
They're uneducated and they got a problem. We can solve it. Over 10-minute cup of coffee. The first 10 minutes was good, right? And see, that's how I got your name, from Larry. Aren't you glad Larry gave me your name to call? See the point? So what's going to happen? I'll show these folks our solutions. And you know the biggest problem they got is 100% off one, and I want to show them a solution of 1% off 100. Watch what's going to happen to you with compounding people. Watch this. I'm going to sit down with Larry. Larry's going to have under 100 names in his cell phone, about $32,000 in income in his cell phone, because they all got problems, right? But also he's going to have what? 3 friends that you don't even know, that he wants them to have a better shot at life and have their problem solved. So guess what he's going to do? He's going to give me 3 names, like, right? I'm going to call those names, and just like Larry had me call you, I'm going to call your names, and they're going to have me call their names. And guess what? I'm going to start building something for you. My whole goal for you in 6 months is to have 100 people. Remember the 100 people I'm talking about, 1% off 100? Get to those 100 people in 6 months. Why? Watch this. How are we going to get them? Well, you know 3, right?
Yes.
But those 3, what, have 9. See, they all have 300 names in their cell phone, don't they? You got 100? They got 100?
Yes.
Yep.
Now it's 900 names.
Oh, wow.
You got the one? Now you understand? Now you're starting to understand Facebook?
Multiple.
Yep.
Right? Then watch this. They introduced me to 3 people, just like in real estate, right? And that becomes 27. And the 27 becomes 81. Now, who's doing all this for you? Me.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be doing it anyway. See, the problem in Primerica is we want to interview somebody and say, Larry, here's the pen, go sick them. And call me if I can help you. No, I'm going to be doing all this.
Yes.
Right? Who
Yes.
else? Can he do it?
No.
But we want them to, don't we? They won't, number 1. Number 2, he doesn't know anything.
Right.
He doesn't have my ambition.
It's good.
So watch this. They all have solutions, right? They all have problems that need to be solving. They've got what? Thousands, because that's what? Not just 100 names. They got that's 100 what? That's 10,000 people that need to have problems solved. 10,000 from your 3.
That's good.
And if only 20 of them solve the problem every month of somebody, that's 200 people. Your average income is $400. I'm sorry, $200. That's $4,000 a month in income. Now, Larry, I want to build it for you. Larry, would you rather have me build it for you or somebody else? Build it for somebody else.
For me.
Me.
Now, why would he say no? Build it for somebody else. You see, I am either build it for him or somebody else. And he's got to know, Larry, Daryl, I've got 3 or 4 other people, but I prefer to build it for you. Because you're a good friend of Larry's. And I want to call and tell him, you know, you're excited about a better life for him, for yourself and your family, right?
That's good.
Now, I've got other people, but trust me, I'd rather in the next 7 days, here's what I want to do. In fact, you like steak? I'm going to buy you a steak dinner. But I'm going to get you 5 to 7 people in the next 7 days to prove it to you that this thing works. If not, I'll buy you and your wife a steak dinner. I've never bought a steak dinner, by the way, dear Larry. Daryl. Why? Because this works. I'm good at it. Now, what do you like best about what I've shown you so far, right?
Yep.
Money.
Now, here's the point. Listen, I haven't given you enough information to make a decision.
Nice.
Why?
Nice.
Because I haven't. We need to get together. Listen, it's now 10 o'clock in the morning. Can we get tomorrow morning at McDonald's at 10 o'clock? Because there's some other stuff I need to get you. And guess what? Would you want me to build it for you, right?
Yes.
All right. What's John's last name and phone number? What's phone number, right? By the way, I can do 5. You want me to call 5 for you? Just 3? Got the point?
Yep.
Well, I don't know. Listen, I understand completely. Larry said,
The same thing.
see, I talked to Larry about this. He said, I'll give you 3 names because I want you to build it for me, Bill. Guess what? Well, I'm building it for you. I'm building it for him at the same time. Got it? And thankful. He gave me your name and number. And did you feel pretty good about all we've done so far?
Yes.
Guess that's why I'm going to treat everybody you give me their names.
Right.
All right?
Yeah.
So, see you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. By the way, it's now 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll give you a call by 4 and let you know the good news. And when I call you, I'll have appointments for you by 4 o'clock.
That's great.
And guess what? I want one of his people, John, meeting with us tomorrow at 10. Good news, Larry. Remember, Daryl, John, he's meeting with us tomorrow at 10. When you're supposed to get together, he's meeting with us. You're going to see this again. It's working for you, I told you. Larry, guess what? Met with Daryl. Remember, you said you're a sharp guy.
Yes, I
I've
did.
already got 2 appointments for
Wow,
this
awesome.
thing is working. Why don't you come tomorrow morning at 10?
I'll be there.
Meet with all of us. See, I got the names. I got some. Now, I'm not interested, and I'm happy where I am. Because I still have the names. I can't use his name. On occasion, guess what I've done? Listen, he said you're sharp. He said, but he doesn't want me to give you the name. He probably knows you from church or someplace like that. And if I'm out of names, I might say that. I won't use his name. And I still get appointments from that. But 99 times out of 100, 80% of the time you're going to get names. The other 20% crock pot them. If you feel good tomorrow, I'll do an F&A, right? 10 o'clock. Start the F&A process. If I don't have somebody with me, give them some more information. How many works book, something like that. Right?
Yep.
Dan, what do you got? What do you need to see on that?
Set your posture.
I'm not sure what you mean by that.
We got it. They need what we have.
We got to go.
Don't be set your
We got to
posture
go.
on up. Talk from strength. We're not begging.
Do it in 30 minutes.
Do it in 30 minutes.
Nope, just out. Right.
Easy.
It's 5 to 8 minutes or 30 minutes. I might take a little bit longer. Depends upon his response. But I try to keep it to 30, 35 minutes. For my sake, because I got to move on to somebody else, because I got 4 appointments today. Daryl, what'd you get on it? Because you were the...
You really take all the questions out of it. You're showing them exactly what they're going to get. Because by solving their problems, not your problems, not the problems you think they have, but you're actually walking through it, solving their problem. Showing them how, by helping them by solving their problems, that they can have the life that they want, the life that they haven't even thought about yet, because they never knew it was possible.
And tomorrow I'll come back with the 4th problem we solve. Everybody wants to be somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's kind of blowing me off a little bit, I hit the 4th problem pretty quick. Daryl, biggest 4th problem people have, everybody wants to be somebody, make a difference with their life. Do you ever feel like your life and your job matters? You ever feel like you feel you're fulfilling your purpose where you work right now?
Half the time, they don't even know I'm there, Bill.
See, that hits people in an area. And if you watch a wonderful video by Jamal Bryant, Pastor Jamal Bryant, he talks about God doesn't want you to have a job. He said, if you have a plane in a hangar and it sits there and it's not used, it will start to deteriorate. And if you're not working your purpose, you will deteriorate.
That's a good word.
And how many people in America today can say, I'm where God wants me to be. I'm living my purpose that God intended for me to live. I'm doing for work. And unless they work in a ministry, they're not. You can't say that because they don't know what we know.
Right.
So you will never have any peace in life unless you're working your purpose.
Absolutely.
You'll never have any. Feel like you have any value. You feel like you're being used. You feel like you're a victim. You're looking for somebody else to make your life better. You're mad at the boss. You're mad at the something. You're mad at this. You come home every day grouchy. Why? Because another day shot to heck. Yes, ma'am.
I like when you're you're putting that you only have a half hour, you have other people to see. I'm okay with you not, I'm okay with you. Then they don't feel like, I always feel like they're like, what are you bringing me? I mean, I think we all do that. And someone knocks on your door with wall side windows. Somebody, I don't need freaking windows, really? Did you see the leak that's coming out? You don't know because that's been leaking up there. But I think the way you present it, saying, it's only going to take me 30 minutes. I just want to show you, what we have to, and then you're like, I got to go to my next appointment. Well, if you got all these appointments and you made time for me, it puts some more sense of value on it that they don't feel we have.
In Dallas on Sunday, there's $2 billion in tornado damage. It's been terrible. We had some friends lost houses, and it's been so disruptive. No one died
Thank God.
or was injured
Wow.
Wow.
That's huge.
because of the early warning system. We are an early warning system for them.
All right.
Wow.
I like that.
Wow.
On their 100% off one, on their live too long, die too soon. But the big one for me is, if you talk to me about doing something special with my life, I literally drove down the road and saying, dear God, let me do something with my life.
Yes.
I didn't say, dear God, let me make $100,000 a year. I want to do something with my life. Art Williams changed the world with those 13 words. I want to be somebody so bad it borders on being an obsession. Every piece of flesh, Art said, wants to be somebody.
Yeah.
And they are not being the person they hope to be, and that's a problem. And we can solve it. And so when we're not recruiting, and I got a goal of our base shop recruiting 1,000 people in the next 12 months. Because there's 1,000 people out there with a problem to be solved. Not because I just want 1,000, I want 1,000 smiling faces.
Right.
We paid $70 million in death claims the last 9 months. Why? Because of this. I built a hierarchy. I love what Andy Young said. I didn't come here to feed the orphans and I didn't come here to feed the homeless or to feed the children or to build churches. I came here to make and accumulate money by building hierarchies. But because I did, I'm feeding the homeless, I'm taking care of feeding the kids, and I'm building churches.
Right.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Very powerful.
Hurt or not?
I mean, God wants you to make money.
That's right.
Now, if you want to say, well, I think business is God's method of serving his people.
Yep.
In America today, I hate it when we don't think business is the answer to all the problems in America. It will solve all the problems in America. Business. Why? God created business.
That's right.
No, we have to have some government stuff, but there's no government that's going to ever make your life better. Business will. You ask people that need more government assistance or they need a job. They want a job. No one wants government assistance. They want a job because they feel good about themselves, and God wants us to feel good about ourselves.
Right.
But how many people in America really feel like they're serving people? They're not. They don't feel like they're serving people. Serving means making their life better. we not only serve people, make their life better, we solve their problems. That's huge. We should be walking around with our chest out and head high, saying, man, you got to be in my business with me. Why? Because you're never going to feel, you're going to feel so good about yourself. And the money is unbelievable. Why? Because why? There's a need out, not a need out, there's a problems to be solved. Hate that. People don't get the find the need and fill it kind of thing. Now find the problem and solve it. So in America today, you want to make more money? Find more problems to solve.
There's a whole lot of problems out there.
That's right. Anybody else? What do you like best about all this, man?
I wasn't great at referrals, and I like how you integrated that right with the recruit appointment.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. I want to get better at that.
Here's what you need to do. Don't think for the next 20 appointments. Just do.
Just do. Oh, okay.
They don't know you're screwed up.
That's true.
They don't know. Do the best you can. How do you think I came to Dallas with this? No. I figured it out.
Yep.
And you can't figure it out by listening. Now listen to the tape, that we've got available over and over again, but you
Figure
can
it out
screw
by
it up.
doing
Do it 20
Do it.
times. You'll be a master of it.
Yeah.
Right.
And by doing it's the only way to solve it. Versus, I'm not going to do anything until I get all the words down. When you can do that,
No.
Yeah, that ain't never happened.
but you're going to still screw it up, right?
Yeah.
But they don't know you screw it up.
Right.
You're going to forget this and forget that. I do too. Even to this day I forget. You're going to listen to my tape and say, well, you didn't say that on the tape. You forgot.
Right.
Well, today I remembered. And I added something today I didn't have before. Because every time you give a presentation, you're one presentation better than the one before.
Right. Right.
So to realize that when you start double-digit recruiting, everything will change. I don't know why that number is magical. And 4 deep. Now, watch it. I talked to Larry. He and I go to church together. He gave me Daryl's name. Daryl gave me Dan's name. Dan gave me Danielle's name, right? And I'm 4 deep. Why? I cannot wait to call Larry. Larry, you ain't gonna believe this. I told you it's gonna work. Daryl's already got 3 people. Daryl, guess what? Dan has already got 1. This thing is working. I love that. What I hate is, well, Larry, just getting back to you. Just confirming tomorrow at 10.
Got a meeting.
Well, you can't make it. Okay. Don't you hate that? Give them something. Don't you want to give them a gift?
Yes.
Don't you like my granddaughter? Drives my wife and family nuts because I love buying her gifts. And she loves getting them.
Yes, of course. Love it, love it.
And now she doesn't want me to give them to her. We got to play hot and cold. I go hide them.
Oh,
And then we
that's
play
nice.
hot and cold and go get it, right? I love it. I love giving him the gift of people. I love giving him the gift of a better life. I give the hope that I'm building for him. Is it going to work completely at 100? No. But at least there's hope in his life when he goes to bed tonight. There's something going on in my life right now that's got some possibilities.
Yes, yes, yes.
And he's got some hope. And they go to church together. And so you got to love it. Love it. This is a labor of love for me. You're not giving it to get a recruit. You want to build a hierarchy for people to solve their problem of 100% off one, and you'll solve that problem. No one's got their thumb on them anymore.
Yes.
They don't have to fight that traffic every day. They can make $100,000 a year when only less than 9,000 people in Detroit, Michigan make $100,000 a year on salary. Did you know that?
No, 9,000?
Less than.
Well, Dallas, Fort Worth, we've got 7 million people. 9,000 make 100,000 a year. I sent you that thing.
Yeah.
There's probably 5,000 people on salary that make $100,000 a year. Might be a little bit more here because you get a lot of corporate headquarters, but no more than 10,000.
And our 100 grand is different than their 100 grand.
That's right.
Big time.
Think about the gift we give them, unlimited income and secure. You know, R. Williams talks about that, and in A.L. Williams' way, unlimited income, secure income. Where else could you find that? Name the profession or business you can find that. Unlimited income, secure income.
Nowhere.
You know, a woman came up to me the other day and said, Bill, I've got friends of mine that are doctors, and they're making, $500,000 a year. They have no time. They see their wife 3 or 4 hours a week.
And their debt for school is still, we got 2 doctors in our sub, and I'm like, how do they still have that much debt? Because doctor school is not cheap.
And not only that, they know if they back off, they got another doctor going to take these people are going to be served. They got problems they got to solve. You don't want to work, I'll take them. So you stop working, the ship starts going down. Think about that. Unlimited income, secure income. Think about where else the gift. You've got to see this as a gift that you're giving them. And what's the gift? I'm going to build it for you. And if they blink, I'll build it for somebody else. I don't need them.
That's good.
I just need his 3 names, right? I don't even need him. Because some guys say, listen, I'm going out of town for a week. Don't worry, when you come back, you'll have 7 or 8 people. That's what I do. Larry, what you getting out of all this?
Whew, so much. Bill, we're problem solvers. And we realize that we have solutions for people. And I like the way when you showed your presentation on how you lead people into the direction that they want to go, but they don't know which way to go. And you kind of give them the answers before they even know it. And they start to believe that, hey, there is a solution, and you're the one that has the solution. We got it.
See, I love the fact that I'm going to give them 100 people. And they want 100 people. Isn't it funny how they all say, I want to be a broker, not an agent? I want to be a Century 21.
Right.
They don't want that.
Exactly.
What? More money? Override? Money I can get? But this presentation is no good. It's a presentation. I don't know good. It's a presentation. But if we wait until it's perfected, is this thing? No, it's not perfected yet. But I've done this. Hey, you know how many times I've done this? Countless times. I don't want to know how many times. Countless times. Because why? Because you got to do it over and over and over and over and over and over and over. Because it's not my words that get them interested. It's their position in life. It's either there or not there. You understand that? I don't convince anybody. I don't get anybody go, wow, I wanted to be a corporate job guy my whole life, and now you've changed me. No.
And you know what, Bill?
They've got a bent, and I can't change that bent,
And like you said, every presentation you give, it's a little different. You remember something, you forget something, because the presentation that you're giving at that time is for that moment, and for that time, and for that person. So there's never going to be an ideal presentation for you to get from, because every situation is different, every person is different, so your presentation for that time is perfect for that person.
Now,
for
what
that
has to
situation.
happen, I'm going to encourage you, in between now and our meeting tonight, to give this presentation to one person.
Yeah.
Now, it might be Thurman. It might be your husband, might be your son, might be an old recruit. That's not the point. You want to, even if you look at your notes, so you'll get it. You'll start eating it. You start feeding on it. You'll start, like Ezekiel's talk about, eat the scrolls.
Yes.
When you start eating it, all of a sudden now you start digesting it, and now it becomes part of you.
Yep.
And you can only become part of you if you feast on it.
I think if you go put down the walls too, and you go to the 3 people you first think of, and somebody gives you a rejection or whatever, like when they start seeing all the people, they're in your circle, and they witness you succeed, and then they want a piece of that too, for the people that, and even like you said, if they're not, they're off to the side, you got other people you can.
You know what? I don't care. I don't care if they get it. I don't care if I do it and they finally see it, then they come over. I hope so. But we all say, well, I'm going to be an example. If I'm an example, then other people, oh really, I've been an example.
Right.
Right. And they still won't do it. You can be a great, you can be disappointed in your life, a great example for your kids, and they won't do what you.
Right.
Right.
You're right.
You think, well, my kid, no, they're different people.
Right.
So the answer is keep doing it, and guess what happens? You don't change anybody. You get people that are leaning your way already.
That's right.
That's what you're looking for. They had, as an example, you try going to Ford Motor Company, General Motors, Chrysler, and getting their executives. I always had a rule of thumb. We don't get people in big corporations. Because once they go to work there, they're corporate types.
Yep.
And they're gonna we don't get people that work at high-rise office buildings.
Right.
And we don't get government workers. Try to get a mailman. Just try getting a mailman. Just try it.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's, when they go into it, they made up their mind. They're turning their back on anything other than security and a steady paycheck.
Yeah.
Now, they may become a client. Even the clients are tough at General Motors because they have group insurance, they got blah, 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 right?
Right.
But good news is only 25 to 30% of the people in America work for big corporations. We all think everyone does, they don't. Very few, right? So, Frank, Fred, what are you getting at all this? We'll end, and then Dan, finalize last words.
Bill, let's just bring back what we should have been doing and have to do if we want to move from where we are. We're going to have to start showing people what we can do for them with the packages. We haven't really been doing that. And I'm glad you bring it out. I'll be willing to.
Yeah, Dan, last word, kind of summarize everything.
We got a crusade.
Amen.
As we talked before, the crusade back in the 70s, the 80s was everybody's got a whole life. You gotta go see all your people because
That was the whole life was the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The crusade now is they got a job. They got 100% on one. That's horrible. I feel sorry for you. I got the answer to get it. That's the crusade. Get everybody, even if they just had an income coming in on this over and above what they're doing, they have that stress being released. So the new crusade is the 1% of 100 versus 1% of 100, 100% of one.
You gotta look at 100% off what is a whole life policy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or a CD. And feel sorry for people. When I go to the airport, there's some good people up and down on their computers, on their cell phones, talking like crazy. They got these bud things coming out, right?
Oh, yeah.
These white things coming out of their ears.
Yeah.
And they're all on the phone, all kind of, they're hustling from here to here to here to here to here, on the airplanes, going back and forth,
Yeah.
accomplish, and they're creating nothing for themselves.
Yep.
And I know the end of that story. And if they make $250,000, $100,000 a year in Dallas, in Detroit, they got stress.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody making $100,000 a year on Easy Street.
Right.
But we think they are, but we don't know the other side of that story. All right?
Right.
What time we get started tonight? 7?
7, right here.
Yeah, I'm going to be doing this tonight. You're going to be seeing a lot of this because why? It's an opportunity.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's great.
Good.
That's great.
And you're going to see it tomorrow at the big meeting. Right? Why?
Repetition.
But unless you give it. Again, look at your notes. Let me go through this with you.
Yes.
You're going to be here tomorrow at what time?
Now, tomorrow morning, I'm going there tomorrow afternoon, and then there you have wholesalers.
Are we going to be here?
At the
No,
church.
no. Grace Christian Church.
At the
Yeah,
church.
great.
Really nice. Van Dyke, 14 Mile Road.
You know, if you want to meet here tomorrow morning at 9, we can go for about an hour and a half. If you want to go through some more of the